Amos chapter 2, verse 4. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, for 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have despised the law of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and have not kept his commandments, and their lies caused them to err, after the which their fathers have walked. And I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. And, evidently I'm operating off a new page, because I explained how my original long-standing page, man, which I love so much, that has a lot of my works from day one, is currently suspended, you know what I'm saying? So, it's blacklisted, you know what I'm saying? I'm appealing to get that page back right now, man, but we'll see what happens, you know what I'm saying? But Lord willing, I get that original page back, and hopefully, this page catch on. And but I'm gonna keep going nevertheless, you know what I mean? So I'm going into this lesson real quick to get a very great understanding of a couple of things that's been going on in these times, right? So let's get right into it. In Amos chapter 2, verse 4, I'm gonna read it again and break it down as I go along, right? So, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Judah, southern kingdom, okay? Matter of fact, let's go into it. Southern kingdom, which would be Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay? That's the southern kingdom. That's the kingdom of Judah, right? And everybody from Simeon on down to Issachar would be the northern kingdom, which the Lord refers to as Israel. We all Israel, but there's a northern kingdom and southern kingdom. We should probably all know this by now, right? So, back to the scripture. For 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4, meaning generation after generation, okay, our people have is going to explain it. I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have despised the law of the Lord. So generation after generation, our people have gone against the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, right? Which ultimately led into us going into captivity. Okay, let's keep reading. They have despised the law of the Lord and have not kept his commandments, and their lies cause them to err, right? So let's go into that right quick. And their lies cause them to err. Err means error, go off, okay? By misleading, themselves and misleading our people, right? So real quick, this guy right here, okay? Dr. Umar Johnson, right? Now, first of all, I ain't got nothing personal against Dr. Umar Johnson, okay? Some people may think I got something personal against him. We not personal people, you know what I'm saying? The men of the Lord, we don't take anything personal, okay? It's all business. It's all spiritual, okay? And in fact, I used to be, before I caught on to the fuckery, okay, and the deception, I used to actually be a Umar Johnson supporter, okay? I was with everything he had going on, okay, until I caught on to all of the deception. And I realized this man is set up by the oppressor, okay? Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, okay? The elite, okay? He works for them. He is what you call controlled opposition, man, okay? He's set up for different agendas that they have towards our people, man. And to keep our people in confusion and keep our people misled and away from the truth, okay? And we all know this is Mr. Pan-Africanism, okay? Okay, this is what he's into now. There's 54 countries in Africa. What the hell is Pan-Africanism? Okay? What has Pan-Africanism done for our people? Okay? Not a damn thing at all. And you've been, this guy, I don't know the exact amount of time, I've been seeing this guy, but I as far as I could think back, at least like 12 years, he's been in like the spotlight, so to speak, right? Where everybody's known about, all our people know about Dr. Umar Johnson, okay? He in every interview, okay? He's on every platform, okay? There's a reason for that. You understand what I'm saying? You got to give something to get something, you know what I'm saying, on the left hand. Okay, on the right hand side, you know, which is with our Lord Yahweh Shai, you know, we sacrifice for this truth, okay? You know, we give up a lot of things for this truth, right? So on the left hand side, man, dealing with Esau, Edom, they got to give up things too. Okay, they got to give to get. So to be up on all these platforms in the spotlight, you got to give something, man. You got to sell out in one way or another. So this guy Umar Johnson is a sellout. Okay, and I'm gonna explain how. Right. So, and he bases his whole career, his whole campaign off. You know, he based it off, you know, getting schools for our children. You know what I'm saying? Which, like I said, I used to be a big supporter of that. Right. Until I realized what was really going on. So, all these years you've been talking about getting the schools started, and then he blames it on lack of funding. Let me explain to y'all where this don't make any goddamn sense. First and foremost, you already a threat when you talking about putting your own schools, your very own schools, teaching your own curriculum, okay, in another man's kingdom, okay? We all know this is the self-proclaimed white man kingdom, okay? So-called America. We all know that. So what makes you think you're going to be able to get your own chain of schools and teach your own curriculum outside of what the slave master had set up for you, okay? In reality, man, that can't happen, okay? In one way or another, you will be subsidized, okay, and controlled by the system, okay? And this is why he is controlled opposition, okay? And that's why that thing really hasn't happened yet, right? So I know, you know, everybody saw how he just recently, less than like a week after I spoke on him still not having any schools, because he spoke on the whole Kevin Hart humiliation, okay? Which also, what's his name for the Warriors? Draymond Green, which he was also a part of that humiliation, right? So he was set up to act like he had a problem with that, and you know, which he wasn't there. You know, why wasn't you there? You know, I would have liked to see him there. You know, see what he would have did if he was actually there when the whole thing went down. But nevertheless, he had a problem with the whole, you know, the whole humiliation thing, and spoke out against it, and said things like we need to get all the Freemasons and the NAACP, and we gonna cancel the so-called white folks. Well, how you gonna cancel the people that you work for? You work directly for these people. How you gonna cancel them? Right? And then the NAACP, man, so-called white people run that. So what are you talking about? And Freemasons, man, that's some left-hand side shit. Okay? See, it all adds up, man, when you go deep, examine the whole thing, okay? White folks run the NAACP, okay, and they just set up so-called black faces over these different organizations to make you think we got our own thing going, right? Right? Freemasonry. That's pretty much dealing with witches and warlocks, man. That's left-hand side shit, okay? And all Umar Johnson really do is he talks about other celebrities, right? So now another part, you say you blame not being able to get your schools going, blamed it on lack of funding. Here's a major problem with that, right? You're supposed to be this supreme black leader. How the hell you got lack of funding with all these so-called rich entertainers, rich athletes, okay? Rich entertainers and rich athletes, right? That you're supposed to be bonded with. Everybody knows you. You mean to tell me you couldn't get funding from all of these people? What sense does that make? All of these rich athletes from baseball, basketball, football, actors, comedians, okay? All these different sectors. Wow, we supposed to have all these rich niggas, and you couldn't get any funding for the schools? That's bullshit. I just know if I was rich, right? I would have gave Umar Johnson at least 10%. So if I had millions of dollars, you know what I'm saying, he would have got at least 10% from me if this was legit. You feel what I'm saying? I probably would have gave him more than 10%. Right? So out of all these rich, so-called rich-ass niggas from all these different sectors, rappers, singers, athletes, and you couldn't get No funding? That don't even make any sense, man. It makes no sense at all. Right? So Dr. Umar Johnson is what you would call a sellout, man. Okay? He's a part of the machine. Okay? He's put up in your face to keep you away from the truth and lead you into Pan-Africanism, make you think it's the way because he's a great speaker. You know what I'm saying? He has a good look. You understand what I'm saying? So, you might attach yourself to him and be like, yeah, Umar, that guy, man, you know what I'm saying? He got the way for it. He ain't got the way, man. Okay? He's in the way. Dr. Umar Johnson is in the way. You understand? And a doctorate, what? I don't know. Okay? And doctor really goes into like manipulating things. If you go look up the word doctor, he's a manipulator. Okay? Dr. Umar Johnson is a master manipulator, set up on the left-hand side to do the bidding in the work of the elite of Esau Edom, man. That's why he's so high up in what you would call nigga culture, man. Right? So let's get back into this thing, man. We're gonna finish this thing out, right? So Amos chapter 2, verse 4. Thus saith the Lord. This is, guys like Dr. Umar Johnson. This is who this is talking to, man. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Judah, Umar Johnson would be a Judite, even though he would deny it, right? He's not a Bible believer, right? He keeps you away from the truth. He denies the history, and he tries to teach you about people like Mansa Musa and all these. And again, man, Pan-Africanism. It's so many different gods that the natural-born Africans, which would be Hamites, worship. Which God you choosing, man? Which false God you choosing? From Horus to Isis, who you choosing, man? Come on, man, to Nimrod, who you choosing, man? This is how you know what we teaching is the truth, right? So let me this would be a lot to speak on. Let me go ahead, hurry up and break this down and finish it up, right? Amos chapter 2, verse 4. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof. Okay, so in the ancient times, our people were punished, and it's coming back around here in these last days. Our people gonna be punished again. The 2/3, whoever they may be, especially the leaders of the 2/3, who purposely lie to and mislead our people, man, for that bag. Okay, they took the bag, they sold out. It is what it is, and like I say all the time, man, we do understand sellouts. It's not like we hate you. I mean, different men in the Lord feel different ways, but like we always say, man, our people sell out due to lack of faith. They don't believe in this thing. So, some of them start off sincere, and then they say, fuck it, man. Then, I ain't got no faith, man. Fuck this shit. I got to take care of myself and my family, and they sell out. Okay? And, over process of time, they become more and more disconnected from their people to where they don't really give a fuck about their people anymore. Okay? And now they just fake as fuck for the rest of their lives, right? And they live in a fucking lie. Dr. Umar Johnson is living a fucking lie. Right? So, again, let's finish it up. I will not turn away the punishment thereof. Because, another guy. Charleston White. He living a fucking lie too. Because, he's high up on these platforms. Okay? And he's a hypocrite. Now, don't get me wrong. Charleston White will say a lot of thought-provoking things, he does say a lot of things that, can make our people, turn away from some of the foolishness and some of the stupidity, some of the stupid ways that they think, right? Some of the dumbass ways that they think. He has a good mind, but, he's also set up to mislead our people, right? And he a hypocrite because he knows about the truth of the Bible, and he'll deny being a Hebrew Israelite, but at the same time, he'll quote and reference scriptures from the Bible, okay, all the time. And he'll claim this is Babylon. Well, what book told you this was Babylon? The Holy Bible. So, he's hypocritical, Charleston White. So guys like Umar Johnson, Charleston White, man, they gonna be dealt with, man, from on high, right? Righteously, right? So anyway, because they have despised the law of the Lord, that's what guys like them, they despise the laws of the Lord and have not kept his commandments. Dr. Umar Johnson ain't keeping no commandments, man. He might have a beard, but it's just his look. He got a beard, but he's keeping the law without knowing. He's keeping that law, without, understanding that he's actually keeping that law, right? And their lies cause them to err. In their lies, cause them to err. Dr. Umar Johnson, man. Fucking liar. After the which their fathers have walked. So, our forefathers went off too, okay? And that's when, that's why people went into captivity, man. But we went off too after our fathers, Verse 5. Now, this is, like I say, this is talking about in these times, man. As it was in the ancient times, as we were dealt with in the ancient times, we're going to be dealt with again, just in a similar, but a different way. So verse 5 say, but I will send a fire upon Judah, and it shall devour the palaces palaces of Jerusalem. Now, remember, in these times, we are a people before we are a place. And that fire we'll be talking about here will be that judgment that's coming, prophesied to come to so-called Babylon, okay? Most of the Judites, tribe of Judah, are here in Babylon. So you're going to get caught up in that thermonuclear destruction that's prophesied to come here to Babylon. You understand? Verse 6. Now, this is going to go into the northern kingdom because you also have sellouts of the northern kingdom, right? So, remember, northern kingdom is everything from Simeon on down to Issachar, okay? Your so-called Dominicans, Guatemalans, your Panamanians, your Puerto Ricans, Cubans, okay? Your so-called indigenous Indians, Gad and Reuben, okay? Naphtali, your Argentinians and your Chileans, Asher, your Colombians and your Uruguayans, Issachar, you so-called Mexicans, right? So what do they do with the northern kingdom? Mainly, okay, they make them think that they have their own lands, right? When really Esau, Edom control all this shit. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, okay? And just like the southern kingdom was conquered and colonized, so were you northern kingdom tribes, okay? So-called Mexicans, all of the northern kingdom, man. You so-called Cubans, okay? The Europeans came and conquered and colonized your people too, and then set up leaders of your people over you, right? But they sold out. Those different leaders, you think the president of Mexico, you know what I'm saying? He's a true leader of your people, the president of Cuba, and so forth and so on. Nah, man, those are sellouts, okay? Under Esau Edom. They sold out to Esau Edom, and they set up to deceive you and to make you think y'all got your own leaders dealing with the northern kingdom. So, Amos 2, verse 6. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Israel, northern kingdom, and for 4, okay, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they sold the righteous for silver and the poor for a pair of shoes. Okay, and that's going into selling out. Okay, a lot of these northern kingdom leaders, who you may think are leaders, man, of these nations, man, they sold out, man. They subsidized under Esau Edom, man. Okay, and they don't give a fuck about their own people neither. You understand? I'm gonna get one more chapter, right? Not chapter, but a verse out the chapter. Let's go to Ezekiel. The fuck is Ezekiel at? Ezekiel chapter 5, man. And this goes into, I broke this down before on my original page, right? This goes into a right-hand side ritual, okay, that the Lord had Ezekiel do to represent the 1/3 hopeful elect from the 2/3 non-believers and rebels, you know what I'm saying, who refuse to repent and believe in their God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh. Right? So this is what the Lord said gonna happen. Ezekiel 5. I'm gonna start at verse 7 actually. Pretty much reiterates the same thing but a different way. Ezekiel 5 verse 7. Thus saith the Lord power, because ye multiply more than the nations that are round about you. Now we should know that all the tribes put together, hey man, there's many more of us than any of the heathen nations. Okay, we are innumerable, and can't forget about the tribe of Dan, who not on the 12 tribes chart, right? You don't see the tribe of Dan right here because that's the tribe that was hidden, right? Who are still here, millions upon millions of them in the earth as well. Come on, man. So yeah, tribe of Dan would be, you can say that's the 13th tribe of the northern kingdom, right? Nevertheless, let's go back in. Ezekiel 5 and 7. Thus saith the Lord power, because ye multiply more than the nations that are round about you. and have not walked in my statutes, neither have kept my judgments, neither have done according to the judgments of the nations that are round about you. Okay, again, man, we pretty much follow what our people pretty much follow what the heathen nations do, especially Esau Edom. They follow, our people pretty much follow every way of Esau Edom, which is a wicked way. Okay, ain't nothing this devil do righteous, nothing. But even Esau Edom sometimes will judge with a more righteous standard than our people, and that's because they understand the scriptures. Okay. Our people just go by emotions and respect the persons and status and clout and things of that nature, man. Just fake as fuck. Anyway, verse 8. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I, even I, am against thee. Okay, he against so-called 2/3 of our people. Hey, man, what the fuck? What up? Hold on. All right, hold on. What the fuck? I am against thee, and I will execute judgments in the midst of thee, in the sight of the nations. Right? So the Lord got judgments reserved, man, for different sellouts of our people, different people who mislead our people, man. And the Lord saying we're gonna see those judgments. Okay? The righteous gonna see those judgments, and even the other nations, the leaders of these other nations are gonna see those judgments. Alright? Hold on real quick. Hey, yo. Man. Yeah, so, everybody gonna see those judgments, man, when the Lord finally bring them forth, man. But, I'm gonna end it right there, and I'm gonna give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the true elder apostles who we learn the truth from, and peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the house of David, beginning with the 144,000 elect men, and extending out to the rest of the 1/3, every man, woman, and child, okay, who the Lord will have mercy upon. And Lord willing, I'll catch y'all on another one.